Hi, sweet friends. I'm Hannah. This is Sweet Fern Homestead, and today we are talking about tulips. Not just tulips, narcissus, anemones, just springtime bulbs, irises. So I know I'm saying spring bulbs, but these are fall planted bulbs that come up in the spring. So it's really the spring flowers. And you can plant up until your ground freezes. So there is no rush to make sure you get these in the actual fall. You can plant them in winter. It's really just going to depend on your ground. A lot of people order now, like in the summer. They order their bulbs, their fall planted bulbs in the summer to make sure that they get the highest quality and exactly what they want. There are other flowers, other bulbs that you plant in the spring, and you will have those come up for you in the summer. But fall planted bulbs are these bulbs that need to go through a cold stratification period. When people live in warmer climates, they will buy bulbs that have already been cold stratified so that somebody has put them in their refrigerator, kept them cold for a certain amount of time, and then sends them to the person to be planted. You can also do this in your own refrigerator, certainly, if you have space. And then they go through this period of cold in the winter, and as long as you have well-draining soil, you will get your springtime bulbs, springtime flowers popping up. Listen, when Monty Don says tulips need well-draining soil, they do. Listen to him. He's telling the truth. If you don't have well-draining soil, your bulbs will rot. And I lost a lot of bulbs. We lost hundreds of bulbs to rot. That was really sad and disappointing. Lesson learned. You need well-draining soil. Back in September, we had a family crisis emergency, and I had to be very present for that. And the garden was pretty much taking care of itself at that point. I wasn't able to keep doing videos, and I just needed to be, I had to like really just put on pause a program I was about to launch and work, and I just had to be in it. And during that time, I needed something to think about, something to focus on. And over the next couple of months, I started to obsess a little bit about planting tulips and daffodils and other bulbs. And it really gave me something to focus on. We live in a suburban neighborhood that is on the newer side. The owners of this house built this house, and I think they were here for 8 years and then sold it. And I believe they were the first house. So it's a young neighborhood. One of the things that I noticed very quickly was that I came from a city where people planted everywhere. Every inch you can find, you plant in. I was in Providence, and I had a neighbors. They would dig up the parking strip. I lived in Seattle for a while, and parking strip vegetable gardens were very popular. When you don't have a lot of land and you want a garden, you figure it out. And so I was used to walking by yards just filled with shrubs and trees and flowers. And then I came here where there is so much land that everyone has. And it was like, there's a swing set in the yard and maybe some boxwood. And it was just like not a lot going on. And I thought, this is interesting. It's really stark contrast to what I had known. So I just started to obsess about these bulbs. It gave me something to think about, and I was like, this is how I'm going to get through this tough time. This is how I'm going to get through winter, is I am going to create a fantastic display all over the yard, and ended up ordering between 1,500, 1,800 springtime bulbs. Now, a couple of things. Here's what I learned. One, it was a really bad year to order bulbs because of the shipping delays. So many of my things came wrong or didn't come at all. And so like I wanted to have about 200 Akabono tulips. They are by far my absolute favorite tulip. They are huge, buttery yellow, a pink kind of edge. They're just beautiful. And the company was like, yeah, don't have them, even though I had ordered them in the beginning of the season. So you need to know your company. You need to know the company that you're ordering from. I won't use this company again. I have heard Color Blends is a very good company to order bulbs from. And then finding smaller farms, that's kind of my goal as well, is finding smaller farms that I can support around the country. That makes me feel really good. So lesson learned on that one. A lot of the flowers did not come as pictured or described, and that's disappointing. It's disappointing to kind of put things in the ground and not get what you want. You can see those very first early spring tulips are already gone, and I'll show you what I do. Here's more of the Akabono. It has that beautiful border of pink. It's like a light buttery yellow. So once the petals fall off, I just go like this and pop that off. And then you want to let those stay until they turn brown. We've got the white daffodils. Many of them were yellow. They weren't supposed to be. Just gorgeous, gorgeous tulips. It is almost impossible to capture the beauty of these bulbs on camera. And if we swing around here, now these were not supposed to be pink, but they are, so it just is what it is. And those are gorgeous. And then we've got these new ones that are popping up here all around. So this garden bed, I believe, has two different, whoops, sorry about my shadow, two different kinds. This one had 3. And then these beautiful red tulips are underneath. These actually were supposed to be this midnight black. It was a black tulip, really dark purple black. And they ended up being another red. And Dave and I actually, we really love it. So we're not, you know, like I said, everything that came was just completely what it wasn't supposed to be. I learned that a flower is beautiful. Even if you didn't choose it, there is beauty in that flower. And so I just sort of surrendered and let it be what it was gonna be and just embraced the chaotic, wild color all around. And we'll see what happens next year. We're trying to care for everything so that the energy goes back into the bulb. We get another flush of all the beautiful flowers. And then at that point, I'll decide if I want to rearrange things to make the color scheme work a little better. It's a very short time that these bulbs are around. They are not going to be, I mean, I know some years they can go into June, but I would say in my mind, I'm expecting this to be done by the end of May for most of these bulbs. And then I'm hoping my irises bloom and my lilies bloom, and we'll just keep kind of working through the succession of beauty. The alliums will come. And so those are some bulbs that you can plant as well in the fall, winter. What else did I learn? I learned that no matter how close together you think you're planting your tulips and daffodils, they're not. They're not. Unless they are literally touching, you are not going to have that beautiful cluster of tulips and daffodils that you see in cut flower farms or, you know, gardens that you can walk in. It won't happen. So we would put like a hole here, and we're thinking that's really close. It's not. Your tulips here and your tulips here. The only way to get them close is to actually put them together. So what I'm probably gonna do with some of the tulips in my pots is pull them up after the flower goes and I pop the flower head off. I'm gonna pull them up and plant them in between some of those gaps while the foliage is dying back, sending the energy into the bulbs. So then I can actually see what spaces I have. If I don't do it that way, I'll never know where I actually need more bulbs. And so that's something that I can work on over the years. The daffodils should naturalize beautifully, spread, take over. I'm just hoping that this inspires other people to plant flowers all over their yard. And while that is not everybody's aesthetic, it is certainly something that brings so much joy. And it's just been a wonderful experience having neighbors all over the neighborhood walk by and just tell me how much they appreciated that I did that. And it's a little bit of like a happy bubble in spring, when spring is a really tough season for a lot of us. So I hope you enjoyed. I'd love to hear your stories and experiences with planting spring bulbs. Do you have suggestions? What lessons did you learn? What do you know now? What are you enjoying the most? Like, what's your favorite? So I would say the Akabono and the Labella Pock, even though I haven't actually successfully grown them, the pictures of them are stunning. And so my color story, as well as the Akabono, just an absolutely stunning, full, double, gorgeous tulip. So tell me what your favorites are. Say hello down in the comments. If you're new here, hello, I can't wait to get to know you. Please say hello, tell me who you are, where you live, what zone you're gardening in, what you're loving right now. If you're just popping in, I'd love to have you subscribe, stay part of this growing community. And as always, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Bye. Every morning I go outside, and every morning there are more tulips with their heads cut off. And I just have been tucking them in to little vases. I think it's the rabbits, but it's getting ridiculous.